This week on The Scene, the soul-filled sounds of progressive experimental rock group Joyful Door and the serenity and magic of harps with the ladies of AnamCara. Inspired by the Okanagan, Joyful Door leaves listeners with lyrics they say speaks truth and impacts people's hearts and minds.
James and I have had, and Steve, we've all had previous experience in the past. I've been playing music all my life. My entire family's pretty musical, which is a helpful thing. James also, his brothers and his family, they all seem to be really musical, so we've all been doing this for a while and in other bands. And so it's pretty cool that wanted to bring that together and see what we could come up with together, because we both come from, fairly different backgrounds in what we play. And so what's great is to see two different styles, and then also have Steve come in and bring his style later on when he came in. But yeah, it was cool just to see what we could come up with. So we were really interested in doing something. And it seems like we're having fun anyway, whether it's working out or not. We're having a great time.
Our first EP, which is called More Than the Sparrows, and that EP has a very flowy, every song kind of just gels into every song. And yeah, that album is very jammy, but that's the way we kind of wrote it. Our newer stuff has been more, like I said, kind of like me having a skeleton of a song, then I take it to these guys, and then sometimes it just works. Like sometimes it's just like, wow, it just works. There's not even really too much we need to do. And then sometimes we just rip it apart and we just rewrite the song completely. And then sometimes we rip it apart and then we go in a whole different direction and we go back to the same beginning. Like it's just kind of, whatever. We're definitely experimenting a lot more and trying to push ourselves as writers, as songwriters, and just trying to be make the song the best it can be, because I feel like once the song's recorded, it's kind of like it's done. I don't want to touch it anymore.
Now we're writing all sorts of songs. I think we have like 12 new songs that we're working on right now, and they're heaps different. Like the lyrics are so beautiful and so almost imagery based and metaphorical, so that they really can fit to different people, in my opinion, in different circumstances. There's just so much. They're so older, they're growing, they're more developed than the last lyrics that we did that James wrote, because James really writes all the lyrics. Like we might give opinions as to maybe word changes we can do or something, but mostly we just dig what he does. And this guy's like incredible at writing, and one of the best things that we love to do is really give lyrics the front row stage or front row seat when we're playing these songs. Try to make those what people hear, and then have everything else just complement those. So that's what's changed, right? We've gone a little bit older, a little more mature in what we're doing as a band together, and we're saying now this is what we want to do. We want to complement the lyrics, because to us that's what speaks to people the most, as well as music, of course. But yeah, that's the whole package we're trying to give now. Is we're trying to I guess give people something that goes along with what we believe. Our band name is Joyful Door, and that concept is that there's more than what you see, right? And there's more than what's around us. And if you kind of are willing to walk through that door, it's beautiful. And so our lyrics are really based around that concept.
Before I was kind of more just completely open, and it was kind of it was like Zach said, it was kind of simple. And the new ones are like a lot, just way more open, and just different. Like some lyrics I just now, or even some of the new ones, I'm just writing. I'll just have something that pops into my head, and the whole lyrics will be based upon that. And then I actually go back and look at all the lyrics and try to figure out what it means. And I don't even know what it means. So I try to figure out what it means. And then I figure out what it means, and then I have a song. So like I said, I like trying to do something different, because if I just sit there and write a song about another relationship or some relationship song or something like that, there's many songs like that, and that's no fun.
Walk every step in honor of you. I will stand to serve others before myself. Build my house on sand. I'll build my house on stone. It's in your house, my soul is free. I long to be in your kingdom, my Lord. I long to be in your kingdom. There's no dark fox. Oh, no dark fox. Oh, no dark fox. Oh, no dark fox. Oh,
My direction. Oh, man. That's a big question. I feel still new to this because I feel like it's still kind of their baby, and I'm learning how to cradle that baby and to love that baby. So I'm still newer to this, and I'm learning from them. And I feel like this is something that as a group we do want to put more into, put more time, put more money and effort, and see it go somewhere. And I think that's what, if I can speak on the band, that's our hope and dream, is that it would go somewhere. That people would, like How's lyrics, they would mean something to someone. A lot of people are little people. I just think there's a difference that can be made through what he writes. Am I wrong?
Our absolutely biggest goal that we've discussed is being able to create a community of musicians that isn't cliquey. Like everything seems to be cliquey. Like everything, there's a click for everything, right? And in music, especially in Kelowna, but everywhere. Just we live here, so we're in it. It would be just so rad to maybe take the first steps, because you just don't see it. So we're willing, we're ready. Take the first steps in showing people that you can be a musician and not be some cocky, cliquey guy or whatever. And I think our goal absolutely is to create relationships and community within the music scenes in Kelowna and wherever else we end up. So that's the aspect that we love about playing live shows, because you're just with people, right? You're with a bunch of other people that want to do the exact same things as you. They all want to tour, they all want to make it, whatever. And I think that's the aspect I love the most about live shows. I think we all love that, right? We're just creating community, whatever that looks like. So that's huge for us.
Gonna take me in, wash away my fear. The water's gonna let me in. Oh, water's gonna take me in and wash away my fears.
Steeped in Celtic notes, the musical harmonies of AnamCara are based on harps and recorders.
We started about 10 years ago. All of us met. I had a harp circle at my place, so I was just inviting local harpists from the Okanagan to come. And the three of us met there, Kate, Debbie, and I, and we bonded through our instruments and started thinking about whether we might be able to travel around and perform some of our own original pieces together. So I guess over a period of 10 years, we've traveled and performed for about 7 or 8 of those. We did take a break in between in our performing lives to each develop a new craft. And Debbie developed music therapy, and Kate's developed some of her own songwriting and recording. And I learned to the steep learning curve of writing music on a computer notation program, which was really helpful to me because I teach a lot and I wanted to write some curriculum books for my students.
My aspirations personally as a musician are to express my creativity through music. I actually come from a fine arts background, so I think of it as another language. For our group, I think that the inspiration often comes in how the sound that we create when we come together. We each have very individual voices and have different backgrounds and different ideas, and we pull them together and it just somehow turns it into an AnamCara arrangement or an AnamCara original. And so my inspiration comes from working with these two really fine friends.
The pedal harps are the orchestral version of the harp, and they have needless to say, they have pedals. So by your feet, there are 7 pedals by which you change key. So you don't have to take your left hand off and flip a lever in the middle of a piece. This way you can play different types of music, different genres. The classical music that has lots of accidentals and changes, or jazz music where you're maybe shifting keys quite often. You can play. It has a different, more chromatic sound, a little bit more like a piano. The Celtic harps that we play have a unique sort of sound. You can tell they're actually called a diatonic instrument, and they just have that special, kind of mystical, different sound.
Especially on the piano, I can be really aggressive and, grab great big chords and loud and do everything from that to just being, almost like a music box. And then the harp, for me, is a completely different instrument. It's similar to the piano, but it's so much simpler. On a piano, you might grab, 5 or 6 notes simultaneously. You wouldn't dream of doing that on the harp because it would sound quite muddy. And so you strip away the music and you are hearing such pure tones that the beauty of the instrument comes out.
I've been singing since I was very young, since I was a child. And in my teens, I used to sing to Barbra Streisand records. And my mother would close the door because I was so loud. But eventually in my 20s, I started to sing with a guitarist and start traveling around and doing some gigs, country music, jazz music, folk music, a bit of everything, and eventually lounge music as well, with a nice grand piano and all those old standards and so on. Have really, really enjoyed singing. But harp came after all of that. And it did change my singing quite a lot. I think it made it even more personal and more intimate. So I enjoy that kind of a setting.
So therapeutic music is something that I do, and I specialize in working with people with dementia and people that are in complex care. So there might be people that have had a stroke and can't talk, or there might be people in chronic pain, or sometimes people that are just needing to feel the oasis of some beautiful music. And so I'm a graduate of the International Harp Therapy Program, and it was taken in California, and I got to study with such wonderful teachers there. And so this is what I do part-time now, and I go to various facilities. And it's the most wonderful thing when you can see somebody who maybe can't put a sentence together, but they can sing "You Are My Sunshine."
We started out trying to write music all together as a group. And our first song that we tried to do together, this was just an arrangement of a piece, not even an original piece of music. It took us weeks and weeks, and we realized we hated it by the end. So I think what we've learned over the years is that our best shot at writing or recording is for someone to have something down already. Like if Kate writes a piece, then she brings it and she invites us to embellish, to add our harmonies or other instrumentation to that piece. And it seems to work best that way. So once we have a starting point or a foundation, we can really take it from there.
Well, I think in playing in any kind of a collaborative group, whether it's a harp group or a singing group or whatever kind of group, the best thing about that is that each person brings their own individual tastes in music. And so you get exposed to some songs that maybe you never ever would have heard. You know, like Caroline, she's right up on all the pop tunes, and Kate loves the Celtic tunes, and I'm a little bit of a jazz girl. So it's really neat to be sort of a collaborative effort where we pool our ideas together and we all come with something. It's like making a soup, you know, and you have all different ingredients.
We have 2 secret ingredients for rehearsing. One is chocolate, the best dark chocolate, and as much of it as we want. And the other is tons of laughter.
Darkness disappears, artificial lights return.
Dream a little dream of me.
Dream a little dream. Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me.